How much do you charge for your firewood? How much should you charge? How much do I charge? People want to know. Let's talk about it. Here we go. So I get asked all the time on my channel, Chris, how much do you charge for your firewood? How much should I charge for my firewood? How much can I charge for my firewood? People want to know, and there's a lot of variables. When people ask me how much, it depends. It depends. There's a lot of different things you got to consider. And we're going to talk about all the different things. And the number one thing that people don't realize is your market is not my market. And the other guy's market is not your market or my market. And that guy's market is not my market or your market. It depends on where you are. We're going to talk about the things that make a big difference and how much you can charge and how much you should charge and all the kind of stuff. We've got lots of things to talk about. So how do you determine how much to charge for your firewood? Number one, your market. It depends on where you are, and there's two variables that matter more than anything else. Number one, do you live in an area with a lot of people or not very many people? And the other variable is, do you live in an area where there's lots of trees or almost no trees? Because those two things will determine more than anything how much you can charge for your firewood. In my area here, we're in central Wisconsin. There are trees, and north of us there's a lot of trees. It starts to be the forested area as you go north. And there's some forested areas kind of to the south and west also. So there's a big logging industry here. The reason there's a big logging industry, we have a big paper industry. We make a lot of paper here. So there are a lot of areas where I can go cut trees. There's a lot of areas that I can buy wood from. There's a lot of places I can get free wood from. I can buy from loggers. So that is a big impact on how much wood I can get. And the more wood you have available to you, the less you can charge. It's just the way it is. If you live in an area where there's very few trees, you're going to be able to charge a lot more for your wood. Now, the other variable I mentioned is people. I live in an average area. I wouldn't say we're highly populated, but we're not in the middle of nowhere either. Now, where I am, my market area is maybe 250,000 people within 10 miles. So I have a pretty good amount of people around here that I can sell wood to. But in other parts of the state and other parts of the country or world, for instance, where my brother Ken lives in northern Wisconsin, the town he lives in, there might be a couple hundred people. And the next closest town, 7-8 miles away, there's a couple thousand people. And then there's nothing for a long ways. So he doesn't have a big market, so he can't charge nearly as much as what I can charge. Now, I have talked to people, quite a few people around the United States that live in an area that are highly populated. Chicago, DC area, Minneapolis, Dallas, places where there's a lot of people. Bigger cities yet, Los Angeles. But they don't really have a need for fire because they're hot all the time. So it depends on how many people you have for an available market to sell to. So if you live in an area where there's lots of people, not very many trees, you're going to be able to charge a lot more money for your firewood because it's a supply and demand issue. And a lot of people don't get that. The more there is of something and the less demand there is, the less price, the lower the price will be. And if there's a lot of demand with a limited supply, the price will be higher. It's like that for everything. Doesn't matter what you're talking about. If you're in the middle of a desert and there's 1,000 people and there's one glass of water and everybody's got money in their pockets, what do you think that water is going to be worth? Or if you're out in the middle of a big, huge lake, middle of Lake Superior, just for instance, because it's a big one, fresh water all around you, and you got a glass with lake water, and there's no one around, what do you think that glass is worth? Not the glass, the water in it. Not much. Supply and demand, it's everything. I shouldn't say it's everything, but it's the biggest thing there is for a variable. So when people ask me, how much is your firewood? It depends. So, size of your market, how many people you have available, how many trees there are in your area, which is the resource. Are they easy to get to? Is there a lot of it available that you can buy, get, cut, however? So, like I said, if you're in the middle of nowhere and your closest neighbor is 10 miles away and he cuts his own wood, and the next closest guy is 20 miles away and he cuts his own wood, and you want to put up a stand to sell firewood, you're probably not going to sell very much. And you're probably going to have to almost give it away. But if you live downtown Chicago and you live in an area where people like to grill a lot or sit by a fire on their patio, firewood's probably going to be pretty expensive because there's no firewood around. And there's a lot of people that potentially could buy it. So the price is going to vary tremendously. Now, here's the numbers. I sell a face cord of mixed hardwood, which is 1/3 of a cord, for those of you that don't know, a rick, a rink, a row, a truckload, for $120. If I'm selling cherry or hickory, because those are harder to get and I have to pay more to get those kinds of wood, I charge $130 for a face cord or 1/3 of a cord. For a full cord, I don't do discounts. It's the same either way. So a full cord would be 3 of those, so $360. Mixed hardwood, cherry and hickory would end up being $390 for a full cord. And then I also sell pine, and yes, pine. I sell quite a bit of pine. People buy it for campfire wood. They like the smell, they like the excitement, the snap, the crackle, and the pop. I sell it for $100 a face cord. Now, those numbers include delivery. Now there's a guy that's literally, I can almost see him from here. He's about 2 blocks away, right over there. He's maybe a half mile away. He doesn't deliver. He's got wood out in front of his house in racks. It's $90 a face cord. It's almost all ash. He gets all of his wood for free. He gets tree service wood. But I watch, because I drive past it almost every day coming to here to the wood yard to work. It's always the same wood, I can tell. And I can see that there's never any empty spots. He doesn't deliver. That is a huge variable. If you deliver, you're going to sell a lot more wood. And yeah, I'm not making that much of my delivery, but because I deliver, I sell a lot more wood. And that's what we're going to be doing today. I have some wood to deliver. So delivery is huge. Now, like I said before, your variables are the 2 biggest ones: size of your market, number of people, how much wood is available. Those are the biggest determining things. Now, another thing that's a variable is what's happening right now. And I've talked about this in past and other videos. If you want to go watch them, you can. There are several things that happened in the last year, well, last couple of years, that made a big difference in the sale of wood. Number one is there are dead trees everywhere. We have dead ash everywhere because of the emerald ash borer, and there's dead oak trees everywhere because of oak wilt. And there's also some other trees. There's lots of things that are happening to trees where they're dying, and people want to say it's whatever weather. It happens. It's diseases. It happens. So there's a lot of trees available, and tree service people can't cut them fast enough. They're just everywhere. So there's a tremendous amount of wood that I see being transported in trucks and trailers every day. Free wood where people are getting, a pickup load or 2 pickup loads or a trailer load full, and they're taking it home and throwing it in a pile and then letting it sit and rot because they don't take care of it. So there's a glut in the market because of that. So that's one reason. Number 2, the economy sucks. The price of everything is up 30–40%. Everything. I don't know if you've gone out to eat lately, if you've done any grocery shopping, or if you paid for gas. In the last 2 to 3 years, everything is up 30%. Everything. Some things are up 50%. Rent is one of those things that's way up because 2 of my kids rent, so I know what they pay, and it's astronomical. It's unbelievable. And they both say the same thing: we'll never be able to buy a house because everything's so expensive. Yes, because there's a shortage in the market and a high demand. Supply and demand. Now, one of the things you got to think about when it comes to pricing your wood is you got to look at what other people are charging. It doesn't mean you got to charge what they charge. If you've got a lot of wood and you can produce it efficiently and you can get rid of it fast and you can still be profitable, you can charge less. Especially if you're doing volume. You can charge less than the other people. I don't recommend that. I say charge at least as much as everybody else. Better yet, charge more and provide more service. That's the other thing that a lot of people don't think about. Do you do delivery? Because if you're delivering, you should be charging more. If you're stacking for people, you can charge more, or you can add it on. So there's so many variables you got to think about when it comes to pricing your wood. The kind of wood you have. Is your wood perfect? Do you have stuff that's like this? This is what my customers want. This size, 1-hand pieces, nice and clean. A lot of people I don't think they want these oddballs like this, the ugly wood, even though this is better wood, puts out more heat because it's more dense wood. Do you have the kind of wood that's highly desirable? In our area here, oak is king. That's number 1. Oak, then ash, probably then, I would say hickory and cherry are pretty close. Not a lot of people know about locust, which is a very good heating wood. But a lot of people buy mixed hardwood, which for me, that's got to have ash, elm, it's going to have box elder, it's going to have all the stuff that's not the higher quality woods. This wood is wood that is sold to people that just want wood that's going to burn in their fire pit or fireplace. They don't care what kind it is. They want it to be dry and to burn today. That's what they want. They want wood that's going to be burned today or tomorrow. They don't want to wait 6, 8, 9, 10 months. They want to buy dry wood. That's another variable. Are you selling wood that's green? So people have to sit on it for a year, which I do for people if they have a heating system where they want to stock up. Recently I just did the delivery to the lady that wanted a full semi-load of boiler wood. She bought 2 years worth, a full semi-load. Ended up being 32 face cords, so that's about 11 full cords, because that'll last her 2 years. And she told me she's going to get a hold of me in the middle of winter so I can keep resupplying her, because she said she always wants to stay 3 years ahead. So there are those people, and they're smart for doing that. I think everybody should have 10-year supply, but that's just me. So another thing you got to think about too is, what does it cost you to produce a face cord or a full cord? Are you a person that's having to buy all your wood? And are you cutting it with a small chainsaw that is slow and it takes you a long time to cut? Are you splitting it with a splitting mold by hand? Or are you more mechanized, and do you have a tractor? Do you have a fast hydraulic splitter? Do you have a wood processor? How many people do you have helping you? That can adjust the price. And like I said before, are you delivering? Because if you're delivering, you should be charging more. I know out in California, there is a firewood place. They make the same amount of money on their delivery as they do their wood. But they're in like Los Angeles area, outside Los Angeles. And they deliver people mainly for entertaining type fires. They're not buying wood for heat. They're buying what I call drinking wood, where people want to have a fire, sit around a fire and drink and eat and entertain, that kind of stuff. Or they're buying wood just for the fire in their fireplace, just for ambiance. It's not something where people are heating with it. And that's another huge issue that I got to mention. If you're a person that heats with wood and you got a boiler, you're going to have a totally different mindset than someone that is burning in a fireplace or in a fire pit in their backyard for fun. Boiler people, number one, they're cheap. And the reason they have the boiler is they want to save money. So most of those people will cut their own wood and they will burn anything. They don't care what it is. But the number two thing is they want to pay as little as possible for wood. They're always wheeling and dealing. They want big chunks. They want it delivered. They want it stacked. They want the high quality service, but they don't want to pay for it. They're always looking for a deal because they're burning wood to save money. The people I sell to, 95% of them, they're literally burning money. They hand me money and then they burn the wood. And they don't get anything out of it other than sitting and drinking by it or having a camp out and burning some marshmallows. That's what they're doing with it. It's for fun. And a lot of people don't get that. And that's why the size of wood I have is smaller in a lot of the wood boiler people's mind. The size of the wood I have is because I'm selling it to people that want to fire today, and they want it easy to burn, and they want it to burn really well, and they want to be able to handle it really well. So even their kids and the lady of the house can grab it with one hand and put it in the fire. If your wood is so big that you literally have to bend your knees, keep your back straight, lift with your legs, use both hands and your arms, and basically be like one of the world's strongest man competitors when you're lifting those big round balls and sitting up there. If that's the size of your wood, you're not going to sell very much. When I first started selling wood, I was selling big chunks because I grew up burning wood, heating with wood, and I thought, well, big chunks, that's what everybody would want. And the first few people I delivered to were like, oh, this is really big. I don't think this is going to fit in my stove. Or, oh, this won't even fit in my solo stove. Or, oh, this is not going to fit in my fireplace. Or, oh, my wife won't be able to lift this. Or they would say, oh, I think, does this need to be split down? Because I don't think it's going to burn. This is too big. Does this need to be split? Was this wood split at all? Or can I split it smaller? I used to get that all the time. Then it dawned on me, that's not what they want. This is what they want right here. One-handers. Dry wood. That's what they want. They don't want the big monsters. So as far as pricing, like I said, it depends on your area. Now I have talked to people, like I said, all over the United States, actually all over the world. People text me. I get questions on the channel. I get people that will email me a lot because they want to ask behind the scenes. They don't want to be public about it because they actually want numbers and they think that I won't talk about them on the channel, but I'll talk about them. I am today. So when I first started selling, I sold for $90 a face cord delivered. It's a third of a cord in case you are confused. And that kind of was a little below. It was around $100 to $90. It was kind of the going rate. And I didn't really know what to charge, but I was delivering it because I wanted to get in the market because the delivery was everything. That grew my business so fast you wouldn't believe it. Plus, I don't want people showing up here all hours of the night. I want to be there when they're there, and I want them to hand me the money and put it in my pocket where it belongs. So that's what I was charging. Then I went to 100, then I went to 110, and now I do $120 for a face cord or third of a cord, which is kind of on the upper end of my market. There's a lot of people that sell for 100 and a lot of people that sell for 110, still some people that sell for 90, but most of those people don't deliver. And some of the people that do deliver have minimums, and it's usually somewhere around a full cord to 2 full cords, and that's their minimum. And I don't have that because most of my people, they have one of those racks that's 8 feet wide, 4 feet high, if it's a face cord or a third of a cord, and that's what they want. When it's gone or just about gone, they order another one because they don't want to store a lot of wood because they're not heating their house with it. It's fun wood. So there's that. So that's where my price is. Now, my brother Ken, who's in northern Wisconsin, he charges $80 a face cord if they come and pick it up. And what he does is he has people that buy mass quantities from him, as in, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 full cords, and he'll have a section that he'll mark off, and that's Joe's wood. And he tells Joe, yep, everything from here to there, between the 2 stakes, that's your wood. Come get it. They hand him his money, and then they come get it as they can. Or he has another guy that comes and he'll buy 2 full cords, 6 face cords, and that's what he buys every year. And that's, a lot of his customers are like that. But he does have people that want him to deliver it, and he charges $90 a face cord. If he's got to go a half hour away, he goes up to $100 a face cord because he's delivering it. And he can deliver, I think, up to 5 face cords at a time because he's got a dump trailer. So if you're doing more service, charge more. And then again, like I said, if you're stacking it for people, charge more. You can. A lot of people don't have a truck. A lot of people I sell to, and if they do have a truck, it's a show pony. You know, the most they've ever hauled in it is a loaf of bread or a roll of toilet paper that their wife sent them to get. They just don't use them as trucks. My truck is a work truck. It's a delivery truck. It's not a show pony. It is a workhorse. And a lot of people that, like I said, I sell to, you know, their truck is a Subaru station wagon, or their truck is a SUV, you know, and they'll put down a tarp in the back and then they'll put some wood in there, but it's never very much. And those people want me to deliver the wood to them because they have the money to pay for it, they don't want to put the time into it, and they're willing to pay more to have it delivered. Those are my customers. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, if you're in a big city, say DC, Chicago, Los Angeles, whatever big city you're around, the more in the center of the city you are, the more you can charge for your wood. I talked to a guy when I was out in Bozeman, Montana, and he was from Washington, D.C. He watches the channel, he recognized me, so we talked about firewood for a while. And he told me that in the D.C. area, he said the low end for a full cord is $600, but $700 is more like realistic, $750 even. So $250 a face cord. That's twice what I charge. And that's the going rate. I know in Chicago, same thing, $700 to $800 for a full cord. That's kind of what they can get. The other way to make more money is to break bulk. What that means is having lots of wood, bundling into small amounts, and then selling it. That's not the way I do it. I like to sell what I call mini bulk. I'm selling it in a face cord or a third of a cord at a time to people because they don't want to buy just the small bundles. They have a lot of fires and those bundles are expensive. In one face cord or 1/3 of a cord, there's about 40 bundles on average. And those bundles in my area sell for $7. I've seen them as low as $6. I've seen it as high as $9, maybe even $10. And there's different sizes, obviously, but $7 is kind of the going rate for a bundle of wood to burn. And you usually need 2 or 3 of those for one fire. So you're talking $20 to have a fire versus buying a face cord or third of cord from me delivered for $120. That's $120. And if they take that 40 bundles at $7 a bundle, you're going to end up with $280. So there's that. So they're getting it for way less than half price by buying in mini bulk. And that's my market. And I think it's worth that much more because I do some bundling for a few people. Bundling's a lot of extra work. it takes a lot of time. It's not something that you can do really fast. I know there's machines coming out, they're gonna bundle and everything, but in general, bundling is work. And the other thing people don't think about with bundling is you gotta service those people. If you don't keep that stand full, they'll find someone that will. And I don't wanna do this unless I'm gonna do it whole hog, where I'm gonna have dozens of places that I can distribute wood to, that I can stay up on it, and I have like once a week I do my route. But I know on busy weekends, especially on holidays, they will sell out everything they have, and then you got to keep filling it. And if you're not there, like I said, they'll find someone that will. So you got to consider all those things. So we're going to go load some wood and go deliver it and get Uncle Benjamin and bring him home. So I have the baby dumper hooked up to the truck here, and we're going to put in 1 face cord or 1/3 of a cord. It's the same amount. 4 feet high, 8 feet long, 16-inch pieces. I'm going to fill it halfway. So if you see where the metal is on the trailer, if I put this just level to there, it is a face cord or 1/3 of a cord. If I fill it as full as I can get it with an arch to it, I can get 2 face cords or 2/3 of a cord in here. This is the baby dumper. It's awesome. It's the same width as my truck. It is 5 feet wide, 10 feet long. It's a 7,000-pound trailer, and the trailer itself weighs a couple thousand pounds, so I get 5,000 pounds in it. So this is the trailer that was given to me by Thumb Trailers. Awesome guys. I use this thing all the time. For a homeowner or someone that has a small business, this would be the ideal trailer because you can do so much with it, and you can pull it with almost any vehicle, and it works great. Pulls fantastic. Love the trailer. For those of you that want to check it out, it's Thumb Trailers. There it is. They are in Sandusky, Michigan. So if Michigan's like this, the Thumb, they're like over in here somewhere. That's where they are. And really good guys. And they have these trailers. It is a N&N trailer. It's galvanized, so it won't rust. It's awesome. I used to have a steel, trusty, rusty trailer. It was a nice trailer, but this is a way better trailer. They're about 8,000. My bigger trailer I've got is a 6x12, and that's a 10,000-pound trailer, and I think that was around 13,000, something like that. Worth every penny. I'd buy another one in a second, and you should too. Okay, we're gonna load some wood. Oak. There we go, the wood is in. Somebody turned the heat up. Woo! It's about 85, but about 99% humidity today. And this is part of the reason why I do firewood. It's good exercise. So that 10 minutes of chucking wood is good for you. So I don't want to get away 100% from touching the wood, delivering it, and actually doing some manual labor, because that's the #1 reason I got into firewood, is actually doing it. Now, one of the things I forgot to mention when I was talking about the 3 variables of your pricing, totally forgot number 3. So #1 was there's wood everywhere. #2, the economy sucks. #3, we had an extremely mild winter last year. We had like almost no snow, and we had 1 2-week period where it was below 0. Otherwise, the rest of the winter, it was 30, 40 degrees, which for us is very unusual. We even had some 50s and 60s. It was like stupid nuts. So if it was global warming, awesome. It felt good. But I didn't sell as much firewood, but I'm okay with that. Normally we have extremely cold winters, and it will come back around. The firewood that I have in stock, people ask me that all the time, how much do you have? Right now I've got maybe 230 full cords of wood, maybe more, maybe a little less, I don't know. The right number of wood to have, amount of wood to have, is more, always. Because I can cut it, split it, stack it, and it can sit and dry for years before I sell it. So it's money in the bank. You're never gonna have too much wood, never. You will sell it all. That is the other thing. So we're gonna go do this dump in a little while, and we'll be done for the day.